Tech Gurus here with Lian Li at CES 2026, and anyone who knows the company will know that their history with high-end furniture for computers goes back probably about 20 years, but you wouldn't have seen anything quite like this. DK07, this is a very plush teak style desk, and one of the biggest challenges people had in the past was how do they actually build their system or double system on the inside. Lian Li's now created this special flap at the front that allows you to lift up the glass. As you see there, two complete system builds on the inside. And this thing is completely motorized. Well, let's just say there's a Qi charger for your phone while you're working. And then on the other side, you've got the little memory device. You can choose up to 3 fixed positions, and the whole thing is motorized. So you can either have a really high standing desk and get some exercise maybe on a mini treadmill, or put it all the way down to the ground and get yourself a nice comfortable chair. So this is likely to come into the market probably around about the end of Q1, and we're expecting it to be about $1,399 US. And you'll have to work out which distributors and retailers will be carrying it. But one of the challenges there is that you've got to build the system into the desk itself. So they've also got the DKB, which is a little bit different. So it's a simpler design of desk. And in this high position, you can straight away see what they've done that's clever. They've created a bracket at the back where you can basically hang an entire PC inside. So that means that you can use this special Lian Li chassis, build the PC remotely, and then using just 5 screws, the PC can be bolted into the desk. So you can get your friendly neighborhood system builder to build a computer. You can have the furniture delivered in a separate package, and then putting it together yourself is really, really straightforward. There's an optional LED here, which plugs in using USB underneath, and you've got your connectors on the front, and you've also got the same memory options here where you can go all the way from, this is the tall point, which I guess is 2, and then you have the option to press 1, and it gracefully moves down. This one's going to be a lot more affordable. You're talking something like $500 or whatever price they end up with. And given that they're still thinking about pricing, we would anticipate maybe Q2 for this product. So the thing that Lian Li is known most for is obviously chassis. The Vector V100 was a very popular design, and now they've got a slightly smaller version, the V150, which is Micro-ATX, which is really popular with system builders. And there's some really clever features on this one. For example, if you decide that you want to give your fans a good brushing, the fans actually slip out separately from the bracket itself. So you can take your fans out, give them a wash, and then slide them. Obviously, remember to disconnect the electrics, and then you can slide them back in. So that's a really cool, neat design. And this one also comes, what we're seeing here in this build is the SLC 360 LCD, which is a new cooler which is designed to be much simpler, specifically for system builders. So if you're building at home, you don't mind spending time and effort, but if you're a system builder, you want it to be really easy to put in and out. So you've got a simple to remove LCD panel on the front. So it gives you all the usual kind of information you'd need. You can press a button on the side and the top will pop off. And you've actually got a choice of 2 on here. You can actually have the square one that you're seeing now, or you can pop it off and drop in a circular one. Now these, from the wording, we believe these are available separately, but that's a really, really simple product to push into the front. Okay, so you've got these infinity effect fans on the front, and in the back, you've got yourself a little switch, and that switch will allow you to go between software control or physical control on the motherboard. So it gives you a lot more flexibility. So this chassis is expected to retail at about $79. So if you're lucky, it could be as low as £69, and that'll be available around Q1. And the LCD 360 system you saw there, price to be announced, so they haven't quite got it yet. You'll probably get the rest of the information at Computex, and this is going to be early Q2. Next up, you've got a much larger, and if you ask me, much nicer looking chassis. This is the Lancool 4. It's a full-size system, but with some rather clever features. So if you see down here, you've got a couple of angled fans pushing the air through. You've got an LCD panel. It's mirrored underneath, again, kind of reflecting the infinity concept we saw earlier. And they're expecting this chassis to come in at about $129, somewhere around about late Q2. So you're talking a post Computex price, and if we're lucky it could be close to £99. The eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that the power supply has been oriented differently, so this is pushing air out but it's drawing in from the front. You've got 3 fans generally pointing in that direction, and what they've realised is that you can actually make a much nicer looking design inside if you don't have the power supply mounted laterally. So for the features of this chassis, we're going to ask Jameson, the boss man of Lian Li, to give us a walkthrough on the cool stuff.
Yeah. So the Lancool 4, if the people that actually follows, so we do a little bit of modification compared to the last iteration. So this one right here, so it used to be like the fans would be on here, but we had so many internal discussion that fans on here, although it's good for airflow, but it will be too noisy when you're sitting right next to it, and it kind of kill the overall aesthetic of the glass, because instead of like whole piece, you have somewhere like cut off like here. So that's why we decided to move to the other side, still as an intake to feed air through the GPU. At the same time, if you offer like LCD fan like we set up here, you can see the screen a lot better, you know. And then the noise because the fan moving to the other side, that you couldn't really hear it once the system is fully installed. So when we look at the curved screen in our mind, that the 3D effects of the usual like you see here usually only happens on the certain angles, which is the center point, and that's why we think that the user make it to the other side. So
the actual LCD panel is actually powered. You can choose from your keyboard what kind of angle you want as well as what you want to display.
There's 2-way motors behind the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that moved the entire parts. And then because I think the focal point of the curved screen can be like choose from the user depending on their sitting position. This is better when you are sitting next to it and then you want to find a perfect angle to look at it, you know. Yeah.
So you can press a button and move it around.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And on top of it, like for example, in system like this, where you have a lot of what's going on the top, you have your motherboard, you have your radiator and fans, and then the stuff are going too much on the top. So, and that's how the other directions come in, right? So if I click on this directions, I can move the the screen.
So laterally it's going up and down.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Vertically it's going up and down.
Yeah, so if I move it down, now you see that the screen now is coming lower of the system. Now like you have more balanced look. This is like in the middles of here, so it doesn't look as cramped up as before, you know. The
360 LCD curve that we've just been looking at is likely to be 279 without the special fans, 299 with some special fans, and 339 with the very special fans.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on a separate table, we saw the new Flex fans coming through, which should be some point soon. The pricing expecting around $144. And you think flexible, does that mean they bend in the middle? No, what it means is in the past, you'd have to use some kind of Lian Li software in order to control whether you use wireless or you use a pin straight in, but now they've got the option to work off whatever the motherboard's using. So now you've got fans with complete flexibility in terms of how you control them. So considering the reputation of the company for chassis, one thing that's always a little bit surprising is how price competitive Lian Li can be. And the O11, very popular series, this is the Vision M, so it's Micro-ATX style, comes in black and in white. And you can see here the baseline chassis, suitable probably for all kinds of builds, depending on the size of the motherboard. Two things I'm going to show you. One is this panel at the top here, and the other one is the mounting for the 140 at the back. So what they've done here is they've put as many cables as they possibly can into this chassis. And if you have a fan system that you're not really happy with, you can basically fit this bracket inside, and that will cover up the shame of the cheap 360 that you bought from someone else. And then on this side, the chassis comes with a single 140 fan, and that 140 fan comes on this mounting bracket. So if you want a different cooler setup with regards to fans, then you'll need to buy those separately. It's got a lot of neat features here, like for example the amount of cables you can bundle up at the back. It's got two little brackets here, so if you've got long tubes from your all-in-one, you can drop them around the back and hide them. The idea is that if you do a perfect build, you can actually hide a lot of the cabling, etc. on the inside once you're finished. And this will be available in black or white, probably late Q1, so March or April time, at around about $69. So if you're lucky, somewhere close to £50. So next we've got our product guru Jasper, who's going to take us through the B4 Micro-ATX chassis, which is basically early Q2 and anywhere from $69 to $85. Jasper, what are we looking at?
So this is our latest case collaboration with Den Cases, and this is the B4-mATX. So in terms of the volume, it sits around 21.3 in liters. So it's a SSF case in that product category range, right? So it supports up to MATX motherboard.
Okay.
And as for the power supply, it supports up to 140 millimeter long power supply. And when you install a MATX motherboard with a ATX power supply, it supports up to a 240 AIO on the side. And depending on how big your graphics card is, it supports up to a graphics card in 4-slot thick and 358 millimeters long.
But you're saying the design comes alive when you switch to
an SFX power supply.
Power
Exactly. So before I talk about the SFX power supply, I'm still going to talk about these two fans over here, right? So like what we talked about, to further limit the sizing of the case, you can only install 2 slim fans on top.
Okay.
So since we're having this limitation, we might as well provide you with 2 pre-installed slim fans. And if you look at...
Just ask one question. So
yes.
We're looking at it oriented this way, but
yes.
presumably you can turn this thing around a few other directions.
Exactly. So this is the horizontal layup, but with feet on the back over here, you can actually lift it up and have it in vertical mode. Now I have the panels all removed, so you can't really see what it looks like, but this will be its orientation, right?
Now you mentioned the feet. If you spin it round to the back for a second so we can see where the
yes.
feet are.
So if I spin it to the back, you can further remove the 4 feet over here and install an exterior kit. And once you install the exterior kit, this will be what the case looks like. So this over here is the exterior kit. And this is the main body of the case.
So the exterior kit's been installed basically where the feet would normally be.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And so I'm going to move towards removing the panel to talk about the SFX power supply. So with the panels removed, you can see the SFX power supply installed over here, right? Over here.
Yep.
Yes. So once you install an SFX power supply, you can install a 360 millimeter AIO on the side over here. So huge compatibility upgrade. And we're installing this ROG Astro 5080 to showcase how this case can really fit in a huge graphics card these days.
We're having
the card is massive. Yeah. And another reason why we're providing a design like this vertical kit over here is because for cases like this, if you install a card that is this big, you can't really install fans on the bottom of the graphics card. So there might be some cooling concerns by some people. So with this vertical kit, you can install 3 120 millimeter fans in the front to provide additional cooling for a GPU.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, first thing you'd say is that you have to say that for me, the black one looks significantly nicer than the white one. It just looks like a completely different chassis. So if you buy the chassis like this with the panel on the front and the additional panel on the front and the wood paneling, would be about how much?
So the mesh version of this case alone would be $70.
Yep.
And with the wooden panel in the front instead of the mesh one, it will be $85. And the exterior kit alone will be $30.
So basically just over about 110 something dollars, or
if you have everything,
if you're
yes.
lucky, maybe like around £99.
Exactly. If you have everything installed, it'll be like slightly over 115.
And this would be around April, May time.
Around, yeah. Early Q2.
Here in the corner, we've got the V2000, which is clearly the daddy of all the devices. We've put a full-size iPhone down there in the corner so you can see exactly how big it is. This will be available mid-Q2 at around $299 and very definitely designed for workstations because it will take 2 power supplies. So you've got backup in case anything goes wrong. You've got 10 hard drive mounts on the side and you've got 8 expansion slots for GPU so you can put a number of graphic cards in there. And one of the challenges with a build like this, normally it's very easy to get into and put the components and do the cabling. That's normally very easy. Moving the thing around is normally quite hard. So what they've done is they create a little lip under here. It's quite comfortable, it's smooth, one on each side, so you can easily pick the products up. And I'll also get my assistant to demonstrate the fact that the thing is on wheels and that if you've got 2 hands free, you could actually move this around in your environment or wheel it across the floor if you need it in a different place. So Lian Li very definitely looking to offer something to companies who want to create serious high-end workstations. Obviously, if you're in the workstation market, then aesthetics is probably not going to be that important, but it's got a really cool kind of woven mesh design down the side. And if I stand in the way, you can also see that it's got built-in touch sensors for all the important stuff along the side edge, and a neat panel at the top that will be easy accessible when you're using it. So again, this will be mid Q2, somewhere at about $299.